is Bite-Size Thursday, once again here at Slate Studios, or as we're calling it now, Avatar Day! Woo!
But not that episode yet.
There you go. That's still, like I said, that's book 2. But we got Jake, we got Jared, we got Dickey here, and we are chugging along episode 8? Did I get it right this time?
Yeah,
I got
episode
it right.
7.
It's episode 7 now. It's episode 8, The Winter Solstice, Part 2.
Avatar Roku.
Avatar Roku. Or,
So 2.
So does that mean there's also an Avatar Fire Stick?
Crackle.
What is happening?
Did you catch the joke there?
Stars.
Like the Roku device.
Oh, see, I didn't catch it because it wasn't that funny.
Oh, I caught it.
I thought it was mildly funny. Funny enough to say. But regardless, I'm excited to watch this episode because we get Avatar Roku. We're on the Crescent Island. We're talking about the comet. We're talking about the end of the world. We're talking about what's going to be Mark Hamill eventually. I am excited.
Doesn't Zuko end up coming to the village too? Like there's a Zuko Aang fight in that village. Somehow they go back to that.
I'm pretty sure it was.
Because doesn't Aang leave Katara and Sokka behind to go to the Fire Nation? Do I remember that right?
I don't know.
I can't remember. I feel like there's a Zuko fight in this.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was, because I know we were talking about last episode that this is the mid-season finale, so it has to be some big bangs, and so I would assume that there was.
It's funny we say it's the mid-season finale. It's episode 7. I mean 8.
Here we go.
Which is not the mid-season, really, because there's 20. Just 20.
Well, yeah, but when it aired though, as this was airing live,
That's fair.
it was the mid-season finale. It's still a big turning point.
Kinda. There's a 1 week break.
Really?
I felt like it was longer, man.
Just a 1 week break?
That's what it looks like. Yeah, the big break comes after the Blue Spirit, episode 13, because that's my birthday, in 2005, and then the Fortune Teller, episode 14, is in September.
Right, because usually TVs take a break during the summer.
Yeah, because once we hit Fortune Teller, there's only like 2 or 3 more episodes before we hit the string of North Pole episodes. That's why.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Again, this is all like 17 years ago. Specifically for me because I watched most of it as it aired.
Almost 18.
This was 7.
So it's all discombobulated in my mind, paired with
that makes me feel old.
Makes you feel old. Excuse me?
Says the youngest one here.
Thank you for humbling me. I need that.
You humble yourself enough.
Thank you.
Unintentionally.
But we're back to Avatar. I'm excited to watch this episode. You guys want to hype this up anymore before we get into it?
I want to watch the Winter Solstice Part 2 Fire Stick.
Thank you for bringing that.
Fire Stick.
Avatar Fire Stick.
Come on, that's a good joke. That's a great joke. But let's not talk about jokes. Let's
Maybe
talk
that's where Roku got their name from.
Fire Stick?
No.
Oh.
Do you think... realistically,
show.
there's like an actual...
chance of that.
No, I was thinking like Roku probably means there's like a Latin.
Oh, it probably means something.
I'm sure there's. If somebody knows, can you please comment and tell us what Roku derives from?
Or just tell us that it means Lord Firestick.
Yeah. Well, but you know what you can't do to a Roku or a Fire Stick? You can't
take a bite.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as Jake is playing games on his iPad.
Retro Bowl.
We just watched the Winter Solstice Part 2. Oh my gosh. You guys, this is a good show. We've said this a million trillion times on this show, on this podcast. But this is a damn good show. And this is one of the first episodes that just... I don't even know how to put into words how excited and how just it gets my blood boiling because just thinking about
it's the first episode that really shows the stakes.
It is.
This is the turning point.
Yeah, like I know I said it like last episode.
Because now it's been set like the rest of the show's plot, like the overarching plot, is set up.
It's there.
You have this is happening. Then you have to learn all this by then. Mm-hmm. And it's like that. Now, no, our goal has now officially been set. Before it was, there's a war on.
Right,
We got to
like-
get
like-
to the North Pole to learn waterbending, and now it's like, hey, now we have a ticking time bomb.
And I like that it's so short. Like, he's like, other avatars have had, like, years to figure this out. You have a summer. And
6 months, probably, because it's a winter solstice.
Right. So that's true, yeah. Probably about 6 months. That makes sense. And then, so it's just like, you just got to get into this. And it's, I've said this before, if you've seen recent episodes of ours, that I love watching, I love stuff about lore and, like, that, like, interesting background. Yep, I know. Clap it up. And
but the what's his name episodes in
hold
Korra,
on.
I don't like the backstory.
Yeah, no.
Those-
This
so-
man loves lore. Doesn't like the episodes about
me-
Juan.
Let me explain. So for the core episodes, those are different because
Why?
Why? It's the same lore.
It's the same.
Can you let me express my thought without cutting me off halfway?
Without
I don't know. I
wandering
kind
away
of like
from
cutting
the-
you off halfway.
That was good. Because okay, so for what Korra did is, in my opinion, and again, my opinion could change when we rewatch it. But the first time I watched it, I was like, okay, this is cool. But like, I like the mystique behind it. I like the era of not knowing certain parts of how the spirit world works. And like this one, lore for this one, the lore that they're building up is just information about the world, if that makes sense.
It's a lineage.
It's more lineage. Yes.
Like
That's what the wand stuff is.
Like we said,
It's a lineage.
like we
This
said
is
in the
well
first-
archived.
Yeah, but
like we said in the first air temple they go to. One is up in that spiral. There's a statue of him up there. It's literally the entire lineage. In fact, not in the beginning of that episode, but in one of the core episodes surrounding that, there is a thing where it shows Juan's statue, I believe.
Yeah, it sounds
is
right.
there?
It's not in the beginnings episodes, but I think it's the one directly preceding it.
Aren't they at one of the air temples? Is that when they're
I don't-
training all the airbenders and they go to like the room with all or something like that?
No, because they don't train the airbenders in the second season.
So it's in the second season that you're talking
Yes.
about. I thought it was.
Regardless about Korra, I was just giving my input on why I like this episode so much is because it builds the world so well. Like, we already knew, like, a good chunk going into this, and then we learned from this, it comes from Sozin's comment, and then we learned that it's coming back, and I like those details. That's why I was always a big fan of Lord of the Rings. It's just, I like that kind of stuff. So, that's all I was trying to say. All right? You don't have to attack me for everything.
I don't know. It's kind of fun.
Easy too. You give us probable cause.
As I said in last week's episode, I like this rewatch. I think doing it more slowly is allowing things to sink in a little bit better. Like I said, the weight of everything is hitting me a bit differently than my last rewatch. For example, I'm going to say when you binge it, you lose the sense of the time frame.
Yeah.
When he said you got to have it done by the end of summer, and how many months did you just say it was?
6.
Because it's to
It's the winter solstice.
each solstice.
That's right.
Basically. Well, end of the summer wouldn't be the solstice.
But, but
because
the winter solstice...
The solstice starts the summer,
from
but
the-
still.
If it's still the same, roughly the same calendar, it's about December. So
That time frame hit me hit me differently this time, and
Knowing how much comes in the show.
yes.
that's the other, yeah.
Also, I'm looking at a map of this world. It's not that big.
No.
No, it's
I always used to think it was much larger, and I thought it was weird because you hear the Earth Village guy say it'll take you XYZ amount of time to get to the Crescent Island, and the Crescent Island is
yeah.
there.
Well, we also
It's not that far.
we also see because I mean that quick like cut scene like after they make it past the blockade, like they do that again. We mentioned it in earlier episodes. That beautiful, gorgeous music where it's just them flying, and like that shows the passage of time. So it's hard to tell exactly how much time passed while they were flying, but time did definitely pass.
Well, I mean, they said they had to be there by tomorrow, so
That's true. No, that's a good point, though. So
Assuming that time passes roughly the same amount. Assuming that this is some sort of like Earth-sized world.
Yeah. Actually, that brings up the point of the blockade. That action sequence was done so well.
That's another beautiful way that they show growth later in the series. The next time they have to do that, they put an air bubble around Appa's head and they go under them.
That's right.
Really? I don't remember that. That's
It
smart.
might be all the way on the day of Black Sun.
Yeah.
But
I didn't. I forgot about that. That's very interesting about showing the way, because like this time I'm like sure it was unnecessary, but when he jumps off of Appa and he spins and kicks and breaks that thing like the comet coming at
that
them.
is the first. Okay, I might be wrong about this. That might be the first time that we see airbending used as an offensive thing.
Maybe, yeah.
I'm trying to think. That might, yeah.
I don't know. When he was fighting Boomy, he started.
I guess. Yeah, you're right.
But still,
But it's still
usually to avoid, like you said.
And it's very showboaty, but it's very dramatized in this specific instance. And that's the other thing, just the action. The action of this is it's riveting. Like, it's like the anime, like, I can't put into words how just awesome it is.
You say over dramatized, but and you look at Earthbenders, that movement for some reason for me is just it's so dramatic.
The movie.
And so I'm not even talking about that. I'm just talking about in the show in general. Like the Earthbenders are like the most dramatic of all of them because all the rest of them just kind of seem like, oh, it's a normal movement. Like, it's funny.
They're bringing it up.
Now, their element is obviously the heaviest, but
it makes sense. Yeah, it probably takes a little bit more
effort. The most
effort.
dense, maybe.
Yeah. But I will also mention, I think it's cool that this is the first time we saw another member of the Fire Nation that is deferring. And it's cool to see that there's more, like, it's not like, it's easy to say, oh, just the Fire Nation is bad, but when you, like, individually, like, go and...
Especially when they start the show with, oh, the Fire Nation is bad.
Exactly. Yeah. I like that they're like one of those sages which are like, no, I serve the Avatar, not the Fire Nation. I like that they use that. I also like that Sokka's plan at the first did not work.
But it ended up working.
Kind of.
No, not even kind of, like it did work. Well, in a way. Yeah. It didn't work the way they thought it would. I remember thinking about that. That's really good. Is he failed, but then they heard it. And that makes them go up there and think they're already inside. Like, that's actually...
It was smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It worked. Even though that's not what they intended to do there. I think this is only the second time I've seen this two-parter.
Really?
Because when my brother and I watched through it, it's like 7 years ago, for the first, like, actual watch-through, I remember not remembering this, and I think I had seen the first 6 episodes and then, like, skipped over this two-parter somehow and watched the next couple. Because all these I'm looking at, I'm like, yeah... I've seen these. I don't think I'd ever seen the Winter Solstice ones.
Huh.
So.
That's really interesting. I didn't realize that. Yeah, I do want to just go back to, like, the Sokka's plan failing. I think, is that the first time that we see, like, their individual strengths working together? Like that. I mean, maybe we've seen it before, but, like, in that particular instance, it worked really well. Because his, like, mechanical worked, and then...
As far as him being like the man with the plan shtick that they get into, I think so. But they show it before in, some of the traps he sets in the north and some of the ways, like he built the wall. Like, it's understood that he has that ingenuity to him. Yeah,
I just think it's interesting that that on top of Katara being like, no, wait, that actually did work. And then she kind of like led them to lead that. Like, I like the way this really showed the chemistry and really showed that brother-sister vibe. We showed it really well because it showed them working together well, and they're still obviously bickering the whole time, which is just like any brother and sister ever. They did that really well.
Yeah. Great episode.
It really is. And this is the first time, is it the first time we saw Zhao?
Zhao?
No. He had that Agni Kai with...
Oh, duh. I don't know how duh. I mean,
he sounds like me.
Well, I'm trying to like this is the first time like he shows up like as like a real like persistent like for the main plot, if that makes sense. Because we saw him
It's the first interaction with the gang.
With the gang, yeah, that's kind of what I was getting around to. Because I love Zhao. He's so good. He's a great just like side villain.
Minor villain. I don't know what side villain.
Well, side minor.
Side would not be that just something that's not connected to the main thing as much. I think minor villain. It's a more direct villain.
That's fair. And this is once again keep going down the first line.
So Ozai would be a minor villain in a way because he's also he's the big bad guy, but he's not in it that much.
Yeah,
he's not very he's the
not,
main villain, but he's not really in it yet. He's not. That's why they have Zuko and Zhao, because the Fire Lord is just sitting on his throne.
Mm-hmm.
Can't really. He's not very directly involved with him yet.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course Azula in the next book comes another, because then Zhao. Spoilers if you haven't watched. Zhao's gone at the end of this book.
Oh, I'm sure anybody that's watching this, but that's yeah. All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about for this specific episode?
I just want to watch another one.
I know. It's so hard. I like that you said like watching it like sporadically like makes it sit in more. It's so hard not to binge. It's so hard not to just watch all.
That's
of them.
because that's all we've been doing for the past however long streaming's been a popular thing.
Yeah,
like 10 years or more.
Has it really been 10 years? Oof.
I think my Netflix account is almost 10 years old.
Remember the DVDs?
I don't like that I'm that old.
Anyway, if you guys like what we did today and you want to keep following us, you want to stay up to date with what else we have going on, you can follow us on the social media. Jared, what socials are we on?
You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, the funny TikTok, and Twitter if it's still around. You can listen to us on Apple, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and if you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, ring our bell, comment, leave ratings on all those, please, and check out our groovy website.
Absolutely. So like I said, keep watching along. Next week we have episode, I'm going to get this number right, 9.
Yeah!
All right. So watch episode 9 before next Thursday, and then tune in next Thursday to watch us give our feelings. So, in the meantime, don't forget
to take a bite.